All right.
There we go. All right. Well, I am very, very excited about this next panel or group discussion here with two. I don't know if two is considered a panel, but we're going to call it one. But I'm very excited about this next session here as we're going to be learning about self-storage. There's a lot of talk about self-storage. I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in this space, and more than anything, we want to be able to deliver to everyone on the call a high-level overview on where the opportunity is, how it works, potential landmines to watch out for, and how to get yourself involved if you feel like it's of interest to you. So we have two great operators on the call here. We have Paul Moore and Stacy Rossetti. So love to have you do a brief introduction here. And Stacy, if you want to start us off.
Sure. You can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Clear.
Lines are okay, good. Okay, hi guys, everybody. My name is Stacy Rossetti, and I've been investing in real estate now for about 10 years. And started out wholesaling and rehabbing, and after about 6 or 7 years, I got onto the commercial side and started buying commercial property. And now for the last 4 years, pretty much all I've been buying is storage facilities. And I honestly think storage facilities are the best kept secret in the real estate industry. And also, my personal opinion, one of the easiest ways to build passive wealth. That's why I'm a big proponent of self-storage.
Awesome. Paul?
Hey, Stacy. Hey, everybody. Paul Moore here from Wellings Capital. I was involved in flipping houses, flipping waterfront lots, did a subdivision, was part of a Hyatt hotel, built a multifamily from the ground up in 2011, and ended up writing a book humbly titled The Perfect Investment, about multifamily back in 2016, but I had a little problem.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit there.
Stacy, do you want to take over?
I think he's lost.
Yeah. Stacy, can you share with us?
There are hardly any mom and pop operators.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, 93% of multifamily operators above 50 units have already done all the value add, and there's just very little upside. So when I discovered self-storage and mobile home parks about a couple of years ago, I was really happily surprised that there were so many mom and pop owners, so many mom and pop sellers. And so our company, Wellings Capital, has been investing with self-storage operators for the last number of years, and we just couldn't be happier. I recently wrote a book called Storing Up Profits, Capitalize on America's Obsession with Stuff by Investing in Self-Storage. That'll be published this summer by Bigger Pockets Publishing. So that's my story.
Excellent. Love it. Very good. And Stacy, do you want to start off and share with us just a little bit about where you see the opportunity in self-storage? Is it really just very big picture, right? Is the opportunity and being able to go in and find operators that aren't professional and better improve the practices? Is it to increase the income? Are these long-term holds? What's the big picture that we should understand about self-storage and where the value is in these?
Well, okay, so in my personal opinion, there's basically 3 different ways that you can get started in self-storage, okay? One of them, and this is what I do, is I buy mismanaged properties. So what I do is I talk to the sellers directly, and I try to find properties that are like anywhere from 50% or less unoccupied. You know, storage facilities that are run down, not managed properly. And but the good thing about mismanaged properties is that you can add value to them. Just like you said, they're value add properties. So you can raise the rents, you can clean it up, and then you can even on top of that, maybe, you know, add more facilities if needed. But just by buying them, you know, 25 to 50 cents on the dollar, you're able to value add just by getting new tenants, good tenants in. All right. So mismanaged properties is one way to buy self-storage. Another way that you can buy self-storage or get into self-storage is by buying cash flowing properties. So these are already properties that are, like I said, they're 75% or higher full. So they're running properly, and the owners are, you know, managing them pretty decently, and they're making money every single month. And those properties are pretty, you know, pretty easy to buy because you can actually go to a lender and just, you know, borrow money for those because they have a P&L to balance sheet most of the time. All right, so you can buy mismanaged properties and you can buy cash flowing properties. I kind of mix it up a little bit. And what I'll do is I'll buy a mismanaged property, you know, and you have to come out of pocket every single month for a mismanaged property because, you know, you have to fix it up and, you know, you have to get old tenants out, get new tenants in, and it takes, you know, it takes a little while to do that. So what I'll do is I'll offset it with the cash flowing property. So I'll go in and say, okay, this property over here is making a couple $1,000s a month, and I have to come out of pocket a couple $1,000s a month. So I'll balance it out by saying, okay, I'll buy this property, but I need to go out and buy another property so I can pay for that property every single month. So those are two really good and easy ways to get started in investing in storage facility. And the third way is that you can just go you can go build a storage facilities. You can go procure the land, and then you can, you know, get a feasibility study, environmental studies, rezone it, and then put a facility up. And a lot of people do that as well too. So those are the three ways you can get started.
So,
Go ahead.
so Stacy, so I know what mismanagement means in the multifamily space. In the storage world, what does mismanagement mean?
So it can mean, it means that they just, like, so for instance, one of the properties that I just bought in January, the owners really, they had it for 20 years. And then after 20 years, they just kind of gave up, right? The tenants weren't paying every single month. So what they did was just, you know, just let the thing go unmanaged. So we bought the property and we talked to the owner. He said, you know, oh yeah, it's full. It's 100% full. And I said, okay, great. Well, how much are you making per month? And he said, nothing. I said, okay, so that means that it's 100% full, but there's nobody paying at all, right? So those are really awesome properties to buy. So you have to, you basically have to clean the whole thing out, clean all the units out, and it does take time and money and effort to do that. And then after you do that, then you start really getting the good tenants in, right? You train your tenants that on the first of the month, everything is due, right? So, you know, so that you start building this business and building this value to this business.
Is the eviction process the same when you're
No, the eviction process is not the same. In every state, it's actually completely different. So you really have to learn the laws of your state. So like in the state of Georgia, where all my storage facilities are, you can evict within 15 days, right? So if they don't pay on the 15th of the month, you know, by the end of the month, they can be evicted. But in some states, it's longer than that, you know, so you really have to learn the self-storage eviction laws within your state. And it's completely different from property or, you know, or even automobiles.
Right. Right. Now, the big question we're all wondering is what are the returns, right? What kind of yields do you see once you get these things performing? Say you're buying one that's underperforming and get it performing. Is it, are you able to achieve double-digit returns? What are you targeting in that sense?
I teach all my students that you must find double-digit returns. You have to find, and this is actually, honestly, in the self-storage business, super duper easy. It really is, honestly. So I like the one that I just bought in January. I bought it for 76 units. I bought it for $150,000. In the next couple of years, it'll be worth, once it's full, 100% full, I'll make around $4,500 a month. And if you run the numbers on that, and the really good thing about storage facilities that I love, at least the ones that I invest in, because I invest in properties that are smaller properties, $1 million or less, but the sweet spot for me is around $200,000 to maybe $600,000. And those are all, for me personally, you don't need any overhead to manage those, or very little overhead to manage them. So I know on the multifamily side, you're running your operating expenses at between 30 and 40%, but honestly for us it's not really even that much, because storage facilities require hardly anything. I'm buying 3 storage facilities this month. There's no electric, there's no power, there's nothing, there's literally nothing there. It's just buildings, and that's it. That's it. The person I'm buying it from has no expenses at all. And they're 100% full, so those are cash flowing properties.
So you're buying it with cash?
Well, usually I borrow money from private lenders.
So private lenders, though,
Yeah,
right?
right.
There's no banks involved or anything like that, right? And
Yes,
at that size, and then as far as the management goes, how do you just hire someone part-time to go and check in?
Exactly. So we have a boots on the ground person that manages. They can manage usually around maybe 400 doors themselves. And they only, like, we have one person that goes out. We have 450 doors down in one area, and he manages that. And you know what he does? He goes only once a week to the property. That's it. We pay him a couple $100 a month to go check on the properties, clean out the units, overlock. So very, very little expenses, even on the overhead side. Now, we do have a person that answers the phone, because we don't want to do that, right? So, because with storage facilities, people don't understand that. Like, people are just calling all day and night, to move in and stuff. So you kind of want somebody to manage all that. But very little expenses. For me personally, that's how we've set our businesses up, very little expenses to run everything. And that's why I love storage facilities as well, too.
Awesome. Paul, how about for you? Is your strategy similar in that sense?
So we're investing in mostly some significant value adds. A lot of them are mismanaged. And one thing that we love about this is it's really a win-win for the seller and us and the investors, because the seller is typically getting more money than they ever dreamed for their facility. And because, cap rates have compressed in self-storage just like everything else. But we're able, typically these owners, Stacy mentioned mismanaged. I totally agree. Another aspect of mismanagement is that they don't have the desire, the resources, or the knowledge to upgrade these facilities to maximize net operating income and to therefore increase value. For example, you can buy a $2 million self-storage facility that could be $1 million in debt and $1 million in equity. And if you add U-Haul, the net operating income, it goes straight to the bottom line. So let's just say $4,000. If you add $4,000,
You're breaking up again a little bit. Yeah. So Paul, you're breaking up again a little bit. I think once we tune back in, we'll loop you back in here once we get back to service here. So Stacy, I want to hear, as far as the so you're really going in, you're buying it with cash. So you're saying you're getting double-digit returns. So you're talking cap rates that are north of 10%, which is pretty incredible. I mean, if you compare that to multifamily,
bottom line,
You're still talking.
yeah,
net operating income.
You can mute him.
That's $48,000 a year.
Oh, he is
The
muted.
value formula is.
I think it's a lag.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. The value is the net operating income. Okay.
No worries. So if we look at, you're saying, so you're buying these things at north of a 10 cap, and just to put this in perspective, right? Because I've lived in the multifamily space. You're really not going to find, you're going to find a 6 cap if you're buying in a good market most of the time right now, right? And the yield is not going to, you're not going to find double-digit yields. Maybe after.
I can give you like a case study if you want, a couple of case studies.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that would be great. I'm just trying to paint the picture for everyone, you know, and that's what that's a comparative. You have to know with multifamily what you're getting into. If you want a ton of cash flow, it might not be there, but it's stability, and there's a lot of value in the equity as you increase it, right? Because you know, it's a very secure place to park money, and it's attractive for a lot of investors. But as you look at, you know, as we're looking at self-storage, you know, there's definitely more cash flow, and I would love to hear a case study. I would also love to hear on your part, just like anything, right? Everything has its risks involved with it. What are the risks that you're taking on as a self-storage owner?
Okay, cool. All right. So let's just talk about the one that I'm going to buy right now. Okay, well, actually, we'll talk. January, I bought, it's a 76 door. I'm going to say doors for y'all, but in the self-storage world, I know we talk about square footage. We don't talk about doors, just so y'all know. But 76 doors. We bought it for I bought it for $160,000, as is probably worth about $250,000. But the owner was just so tired of it, he just said, please take it off my hands. And the way that I found that storage facility is just by driving by it, right? And the great thing is, like, when you drive up to a storage facility, the phone number is right on the sign, right? Awesome, right? So you can just call and talk to them if you want to talk to them. And most of it is just owners that are answering the phones. But I talked to the owner, and so I bought it for $160,000. Let's see, on average, the units are about $50 each. There's 76 of them, right? So you can calculate 50 times 76, which comes out, I think, to around $4,500 a month once it's 100% full. In the storage investing world, we calculate 8% vacancy rate. So basically, the purchase price was around $150,000 to $160,000. The gross income, what's 4,500 times 12? I'm not sure. If anybody wants to calculate that, I can't calculate. But so yeah, and then the 8% vacancy rate, and then on top of that, the expenses I think they come out to about, let's say, $20,000 a year. All right. So if you calculate that up, it's going to come out to a 16% cap.
Uh-oh. What just happened?
I don't know. Was that you or me?
I think it was me. Everyone froze, and I popped in, popped back at.
Okay.
Well,
okay. All right. So I don't know. I'll just start all over with the numbers so everybody can kind of have the numbers. But I bought it for $150,000. The vacancy rate is 8%. $4,500 a month is what we make. And then expenses come out to about, let's say, maybe $1,000 a month for expenses. Okay. And then, so if you calculate that up, it comes out to like 15 or 16% cap rate. It's like a 15 to 16% cap rate. Now we're going to hold on to it. And what we do is we fill them up, and then we can sell that one. When we sell it, we can sell it at, like, let's just say we sell it at an 8% cap rate. In the storage world, if you look online for a storage facility, you're going to find like a 5 to a 7% cap rate. That's what everybody sells them for, right? Just like you guys in the same world. But so I bought it at a 16% cap rate, and I'll sell it at an 8% cap rate. If you run the numbers on that, it comes out to about $350,000 to $400,000. So over the course of the next couple of years, within the next 2 years, I'll make like at least $150,000 to $200,000 on this facility. And on top of that, I'm making about $2,000 a month net, let's just say, in cash flow, right? So that's why I love storage facilities.
Mm-hmm. Now there's talk about there's the new build self-storage, right, with the heating and cooling. Do you feel like that's becoming more of a necessity in self-storage, or do you feel like there's always going to be a demand for some of the older built stuff that doesn't have all the, you know, the temperature control?
So all the ones that we buy are all just like non-climate control. And what I've noticed, because I watch the storage investing world quite closely, what I've noticed is a lot of the bigger companies are coming online and being sold. And the reason why is because the overhead is so high. So I buy all storage facilities. There's no overhead at all. And there's basically, you know, I have almost 500 doors. I have an office manager that manages all 500 doors at 25 hours a week. And then I have a boots on the ground person that works 1 day a week, and that's it. you know. So I really like the smaller ones, so that we can just manage those super easy and actually make them as passive as we possibly can. I mean, the ultimate goal in multifamily and storage facility is just passive income, right? It's income that you can make without doing anything, right? So that's kind of why I focus on, I don't get big storage facilities because I don't want big businesses. I just want, like, you know, easy income.
Is it hard to scale towards the bigger ones? Is there or do the cap rates go way lower when you start going bigger?
I
Because
honestly, if you want to buy a big storage facility right now is the time to do that, because if you go online and look, every single one of them, there's a lot of them coming on the market right now, and it's just because, like I said, I mean, people can't afford $150 to $200 a month, or $250 a month for the climate control. We've had a very big uptick in people moving into our facilities over the last 2 months, because people just can't afford $200 a month. They can afford $100 a month or $50 a month. They can't afford 200. So we've actually, over the last couple of months, been doing great. And that's one thing I love about storage investing, is that it's kind of recession proof. So in the upturn, you do really well, and in the downturn, you do really well, which is the same thing as multifamily, I think.
How long?
Teza, do you want to go ahead with your question?
I saw a question.
Hey, Stacy, you mentioned driving by to that you found on facilities, but I'm sure you'll find it somewhere else, some other ways.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
So you just drive by, is that the way, and call them?
That's how I find all of them, is I drive by. And the reason why is because everybody that owns a storage facility, they're all like, I mean, anybody that you're going to be buying from is going to be like just an old guy that's just like tired of it, right? Unless you want to get out and syndicate and do $1 million, $5 million properties, then you would go a different route and maybe, like, I don't know, buy a list or something like this. But for instance, I drove by a storage facility, the one that I actually have under contract right now. I drove by and just called him, and he was like, that's so weird that you called me, because somebody just put an offer in last week, but they just did like a blind offer. They didn't even go see the place. And I said, well, I'm right around the corner. Why don't we just meet? And we met, and like, he drove me around and showed me all his land, and like took me to his house, and I met his wife and his whole family. And he was like, I really like you. I'd rather just give you this property than the other person. And the other person had a higher bid. So that's how storage facilities work.
Tell us about how Auction Hunters works in real life.
So actually, no, this is not true. This never happens. I wish it would happen and people would just come and bid and get all that crap out. But no, this doesn't. Storage Wars does not happen at all. So we always have auctions. We have auctions all the time, and people will come in, we'll open the door, they'll look at it, and they'll go, $25. And that's it. That's all we get, right? So that doesn't work, no, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's
So
a TV show. Go
not
ahead.
a revenue stream. Okay.
How long do you hold the property?
Well, I honestly just started 4 years ago, and we're holding on to ours because we make income every single month, and we want to just be able to travel and live. And we've been in New York for the past 2 months, just hanging out with family, and all of our storage facilities are in Georgia, and we just make money every single month and just do whatever we want. And that's kind of our goal. So we're a buy and hold type of person, but if we ever need the money, we'll just sell it.
Right. So it's also like a hands-off approach. You set up the system and you can go to New York and chill for 2 months, and
you have to be completely automated and systematized. I have not met a tenant. I haven't met a tenant in 3 years.
Wow.
I have not even met a tenant in 3 years. And we don't even have a property management company. We just have our office manager and the boots on the ground person, and that's it. Like, it's just, you can totally automate and systematize it, and it's not difficult. But, and this is what I teach my students, is like, you have to be completely electronic. So especially all these huge, like, U-Hauls and extra storages and all these places, all these big ones, they really struggled over the last couple of months because you had to go into the office and sign their contract and meet the tenant and then go to your space and get your key or whatever, however they do it, right? Whereas us, we're completely electronic, right? So everybody just reserves online, and then they just reserve their space online, and then once they sign the contract online, they get their unit number and they can go move in.
Mike, I think that answers your question. You were asking about internet presence, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If you're a storage
Hey, on
facility
that.
owner, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Now with the financing, you talked about private money. Are you just keeping them in as a long-term partner?
Well, there's a whole bunch of, I mean, you can get money for storage facilities very easily if you know how to do that. You know, you guys talk about money all the time. So it's either private money or hard money. You can go to local banks, you can get SBA loans. You can, I mean, it's just all different kinds of ways that you can get. So it's not like multifamily where it's syndicated out and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, you know, you just go to a local bank and just get a loan, you know, and it's like super cheap if you have good credit. If you don't have good credit or anything like that, then just go borrow the money from some private lenders, you know.
Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
Are you currently looking for partners or private lenders or anything along those lines? Is there any way that people could
I
collaborate?
do not, you know what?
Oh, Rashad,
I don't partner.
can you mute them? Rashad, I think you're host. So
Can you mute them? Yeah, okay. I don't, I actually don't partner, because, you know, I don't need to, honestly.
I get it.
I'm just,
Totally.
yeah. But all my students will. So if anybody wants to partner, let me know, and I may hook y'all up, and y'all can partner together. I mean, because they're always looking for money and stuff.
So you teach this?
Yeah, I do. I have a coaching program for storage investing.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Mhm.
Well, that's really exciting stuff. Definitely appreciate that. Any other questions from the audience?
Real fast, somebody was going to ask like how you manage everything online, and basically what you do is you get like a software, and that's how I manage everything. So they'll just go and the software that you use, it manages your website. And the one thing with storage facilities that a lot of people don't understand is that when you buy a storage facility, you're actually buying a business. Okay, so this means that you have to think about what you're going to do after you buy the business, right? So it's retail, so you have to learn how to market. So you have to learn things like Facebook marketing and Google Analytics, PPC, because when somebody goes online and looks for a storage facility, essentially they're saying storage facility Atlanta, right? And they're just Googling that, and you have to come up on top, right? Because the people on the top win, right? So you have to either pay for somebody to do that or learn how to just do that yourself. So it's different in multifamily in that respect. Like essentially you're buying a retail business, and you have to think about running that business after you buy it. And a lot of people don't think about that. So, I just want to buy a storage facility. And that's why there's so many mismanaged facilities. It's because most owners do not think about that part.
I have a question. But so how long does it take for you to stabilize a mismanaged property typically?
Yeah, it takes a good at least 6 months to a year, depending on how bad it is. But it takes, I mean, we have one property, it took us, I mean, our first property, we had no idea what we were doing. And it took us a good year and about a year to year and a half to really kind of get all the, and that was a bumpy one. That was a bad one. Yeah. So a good year, I would say.
Thanks.
Sure. How many units do you have and how many employees? I have, as I said, I have about almost 500 doors. We're about to buy another 200 doors. And we have one office manager that works 25 hours a week. She's going to be bumped up to 40 hours a week when we buy the 200. So she'll manage all that. And then we have a boots on the ground, and we buy kind of in groups. So I said, okay, we're going to buy this one in a group, and then we'll buy a couple more, and then we'll have one boots on the ground person for this one, and we'll have one group boots on the ground person for this one, kind of a thing. Good questions. Okay. All right. I'm here for anybody. You can just find me at stacyrossetti.com if y'all are interested.
stacyrossetti.com. All right. Awesome. Thanks so much, Stacy. That was, I know, definitely very, very interesting stuff. Definitely encourage everyone to reach out and contact. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care.